Milton Friedman once said, quote, "Concentrated power is not rendered harmless by the good intentions of those who create it," meaning that as much as our so-called public servants may have the best intentions in mind when they passed reforms like mandatory health insurance or Keynesian bailout policies, their good intentions can and do cause harm to our freedom nevertheless. On Freedom Watch, we've discussed the rising factions within the free market movement between those who want to solve problems by using political power and those who want to solve problems by getting the government out of the way. In the latter camp is Wisconsin's Terri McCormick, a former state representative, because she adhered to her own pledge for term limits. She's now running for Congress from Wisconsin's 8th congressional district and is doing well in polling in both the primary and general election. She has fought for charter schools, simplified business and tax regulations, and for competitive prescription drug purchasing. She has also declared her support for the current effort to audit the Federal Reserve. Question: will her fellow Republicans embrace her or see her as a threat? She joins us now from Wisconsin to update us on this race. Terri, welcome here.
Thank you, Judge. I'm happy to be back.
So a constitutionalist, a small government constitutionalist from Wisconsin, the birthplace of progressivism. How's it going?
Well, it is a birthplace of progressivism, but we also have a significant amount of Americans that are awake and want to revisit the Constitution more than a read. They want to go back to the constitutional principles that guarantee their liberties and freedoms and secure the free market. We have plenty of problems in front of us, and I see only one path, and that is through the free market principles that we've got to get back to.
Tell me about the reaction to your talking about free market principles and keeping the government within the confines of the Constitution on the part of Republican rank and file voters versus leaders of the Republican Party in Wisconsin.
There's a stark difference between Republican voters and an establishment mentality that believes in entitlement positions. The Republican voters, conservatives, many members of the Tea Party movement, Patriot movement, understand that government belongs to them, and individuals who serve them need to abide by the Constitution, which is why there's an American outrage and cry for term limits. When it comes to the establishment, the closed-door deals, the favors for votes, individuals that would rather do their business in a closed room, they're never going to like someone like me who wants to open the doors, open the windows, and make sure that transparency isn't a word in a spelling bee, but you actually do your business out in the open so that people can see what you're doing. When you win the Republican primary, will the establishment support you against the Democrat? Will they look the other way, or will they support the Democrat? Well, I believe with enough transparency with the news, certainly on Freedom Watch, and if we can get the press to focus on ideas and solving problems rather than how much cash is coming from closed-door deals, the people might actually have a decision in this political race. In the state of Wisconsin, you have two senators who ardently supported the president's health care program. How do the people in the congressional district that you visit and that you speak to feel about the federal government taking over health care, micromanaging it, forcing the state of Wisconsin to raise its state taxes, telling the state of Wisconsin how to spend state taxes the way the feds want it spent, and interfering between the patient-physician relationship? Everyone that I talked to, small groups, large groups, was a member or asked to be a speaker at a couple of tea parties where conservative small business owners, everyday citizens come out because they want their rights back, are outraged by the so-called health care reform bill. They debit the Obamacare. And instead of complaining, I believe my numbers in the polls are shooting up because I'm doing something about it. I've been asked to lead a nationwide group on behalf of the people. We've had constitutional attorneys advise me, and this People v. U.S. movement has identified 60% of the health care reform bill as being unconstitutional and violating individual rights. Not only that, the takeover of 16% of our economy in health care by having the government make choices for you has awakened the sleeping giant, so to speak, and Americans are that sleeping giant, and they are turning out as never before, forming their own groups and discussion groups in coffee shops, pubs, restaurants, you name it, people's homes. We are awake in Wisconsin, in northeast Wisconsin, and the convenient rules, if you will, on the healthcare solving every problem is just not so.
Terri McCormick, good luck to you in the campaign. Come back and visit us again. Thank you.
I will. Thank you very much, Judge.